Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought number 1588 consecutive mornings. How are you today? I am doing just fine. I want to say that I want to inspire you all to have a great day. I want to impart something wise if I can. That's why I call it Morsels of a Thought, and we do little bits at a time. Um, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go TR Tuesday, TR Thursday, TR. The Rules by Ellen Fein and Sherrie Schneider, who wrote The Rules, Time-Tested Secrets for Capturing the Heart of Mr. Right. And the rules too, more rules to live and love by. And today we are going through part of the rules for marriage, time-tested secrets for making your marriage work. And this is a very interesting book because it is actually based on reality and um, secrets that we do know and don't know. I find it so interesting that way. So we're on page 94. If you are tired of fighting with your husband about his family, we suggest you figure out some way to complain to a friend or find a therapist. When you are with your husband, talk only positively about his family or say nothing at all. When you are returning home from any event involving his family, a wedding, dinner, whatever, try to find something positive to say, such as how great everyone looked, how wonderful the food was, how nice it was to see his parents again, anything you can think of without actually lying. At first, this will not be easy and you might feel less than genuine, but look at it this way. Everybody has a lower self who finds fault with other people and gossips, and a higher self who sees the good in everyone. We are just asking you to go to your higher self for one car ride. We know how tempting it is to assassinate the character of a mean brother-in-law or an insensitive father-in-law on a long, boring car ride, but bite your tongue. Keep practicing talking nicely about them, and it will become easier and more natural to do so. We are not asking you to be best friends with his parents or siblings or to spend any extra time with them, but whenever you are thrown together, you should be cordial, warm, and generous in spirit. Out of respect for your husband, you should try to get along with them as much as possible. Remember to send a birthday card or gift to wish them Happy New Year, to call when someone is sick. Treat it like charity work. Most important, say nothing unkind. You will only hurt your husband, not his family. Be one of those people who has only good things to say about other people. Your husband will appreciate it and your marriage will be better for it. Also, remember not to get involved in family dynamics or disputes. Sometimes a newly married woman will call us to say that she doesn't like the way her husband treats his parents or vice versa. She wants to tell her husband that he should see his parents more often. They're not going to be around forever, she'll remind him. Of course, her husband resents her interference, and rightly so. They're his parents. We tell her to stay out of it. None of your business. You weren't there when he was 5 or 15 or maybe even 25 years old. You don't know how they treated your husband or why they're not as close as you would like, but it's not your job to dictate his behavior. Children need to be told not what to do, not adults. Leave him alone. So if you're the type to tell your husband to call his mother more often or to actually dial her number and put your husband on the phone, mind your own business and find something else to do with your time. Conversely, if your husband loaned his brother $5,000 5 years ago and has yet to be repaid, don't tell your husband to have nothing to do with him until he sees the money. Just stay out of it. Your husband didn't marry you to play social director or judge and jury. Whether he's too close to his family or not close enough, it is his family and his choice. Remember this, and your family dynamics will be a lot smoother. This is spoken from the voices of experience here, because the rules are to make you find have people find you more attractive than less attractive, And I see somebody there. Good morning. Hi, hi, hi. I can't see something. They're not showing me your names at all. So, good morning, folks. And or good afternoon or good evening wherever you are. Rule number 25 in the rules for marriage, by the authors of the number one New York Times best-selling phenomenon, The Rules. Make him feel like he's the most important person in your life. So when you're married, you want to do these things. If you're not married, think about these things as a point of point of arrival when you get there, because if you have this in your mind, then you have an outer higher self that you project when you're out there dating, and that will show through. It everything shows through. Your lower self shows through. Your higher self presents yourself best. Let's say, the authors say, let's say you're close to your sister and you talk to her almost every day. Before you met your husband, you rarely made a decision without consulting her. Now that you're married, it's easy to still call her first for advice, whether it's about what dress to wear to a wedding or a major career move. But if you want to be happily married, consult your husband first. Make him feel like he's number one. Every husband wants to feel that he's your best friend, your life partner, your soulmate. So even if you are more comfortable confiding in your sister, make sure you take the time to ask your husband for his opinion first. You must feed his ego. Remember, men like to solve problems and feel good when they can rescue you or at least steer you in the right direction. Men think you're cute when you're going the wrong way and then they steer you this way, and then you keep on going and not acknowledge them, but you just keep on going. They love it. And somehow it's funny for them. I like it too. It's hilarious. It's like when you take a little toddler that's walking, you pick it up and you turn it around and put it down, and it keeps on walking. Well, men like it when they can steer you in the right direction, almost literally. So, Marcy, say the authors, and her older sister Nancy have been close since birth. Marcy consulted Nancy about everything from what lipstick shade to wear to where to go on her honeymoon. When Marcy wanted to redo her master bedroom, she called Nancy, who had just done hers, for advice. Then she called her husband Peter at work and told him she wanted to buy the same bedspread and furniture Nancy had. Peter was furious. He would have liked Marcy to talk to him first about his taste in redoing such an important room, even though he didn't know anything about fabrics and had no preference for formica or wood. But you don't know anything about decorating, and Nancy just redid her bedroom, said Marcy, surprised by his reaction. I would have looked at some furniture catalogs and talked to my friends. Isn't there anything you could do without Nancy's seal of approval? Peter fumed. The conversation turned into a big argument about how decisions should be made and how money should be spent. We're married a year now, and you're still acting and spending like a single person, screamed Peter. You didn't consult me when you bought your sports car, Marcy shouted. Just go out and redo the bedroom with Nancy, your significant other, he shot back. The argument could have been avoided if Marcy had simply consulted Peter first and let him feel included by allowing him to shop around and read decorating magazines. She should have included him and listened as he analyzed the pros and cons of Venetian blinds. She could have let Peter feel like it was their decision, not her sister's. She would still have been able to order the bedroom set Nancy had. There was just no need to let Peter know that her sister's recommendation mattered so much. Being happily married means being a little bit of a diplomat. No, a little bit. No man likes to feel like a rubber stamp, okaying whatever decisions you make with your sister, mother, or best friend. By all means, continue to talk to everybody else, but consult your husband first. Ask him about the kitchen. Ask him what dress you should wear to the wedding or which treadmill to buy. He will feel flattered, and you can still do whatever is good for you. Let's say you have a best friend whom you consult about everything from work issues to sex. This friend literally keeps you alive during bad times, and you do the same for her. But if you don't want your husband to be jealous of the closeness you share with her, try to be discreet about exactly how influential she is. If your husband finds your best friend's hold over you annoying or intrusive, try not to be on the phone with her when he is at home. Discuss your interactions sparingly. Do not flaunt her name in conversations. Don't tell him you want to go to X restaurant because Mindy said it was fabulous. Don't tell him that you want to go to Aruba because Mindy was just there. Don't tell him you don't want to have a third child because Mindy has two and says there is too much work. Be sensitive. No man wants his next vacation spot or dynasty to be determined by someone else. If he likes Mindy, you can mention her name once in a while, but just in passing, not in terms of any important decisions. But if he doesn't like Mindy because he thinks she's a bad influence, she spends too much time, she spends too much money, smokes or drinks too much, has cheated on her husband, do not mention her at all. Men simply do not understand the importance of female bonding, even if you try to explain it to them. They believe a husband and wife should be able to figure everything out for themselves privately. That's because, unlike women, most men do not call their best friends every day to make decisions. There's a joke that all a man knows about his best friend of 25 years is his first name, age, if he's a good basketball player, and what he does for a living. A woman, on the other hand, will strike up a conversation with another woman at the beauty parlor and know her astrological sign, the names of all her children and babysitter, and what car she drives within 5 minutes. With a best friend, she will know how much they pay their nanny and how often they fight ble- and what about without blinking an eye, facts a man might never tell the best man at his wedding. Indeed, if your husband knew how much you told your friends about your private life, he would be shocked and upset. But if you are the kind of person who needs to share intimate details of your life with a best friend or needs her advice to make good decisions, we understand and think it's perfectly okay. Just make sure you don't let your husband know exactly how important she is. If he asks, "So how many times did you talk to Mindy today?" Or, "Let me guess, does Mindy also have those shoes?" Just say you haven't spoken to Mindy in a while. He will think you mean a few days. We know you mean a few hours. And then change the subject. Ask him about work. Here's another tip to make your husband feel like he's numero uno, especially if you have a close sibling or best friend. You are having a riveting conversation with your sibling or a friend who is telling you all about her steamy date. Your husband comes home and wants to talk about plans for the weekend. You don't want to be rude, but you don't want to stop what you are doing either. Stop what you are doing. Call your friend back. It's worth the delayed gratification to make your husband feel he's first. How would you like it if you came home and your husband wouldn't look up from his newspaper to talk to you? Try to be considerate. You can talk to your sister or friend later on or the next day. Remember, friends come and go, but hopefully your husband will be around for a long time, so make him feel important. Now, I went to a workshop last year in June, and we were asked to interact with each other without telling our stories. And it was 3 days of this. It was so different. I don't want to say it was weird because it was weird. But the funny part is we all did get along and we all did projects together and we all accomplished a lot. And when we left, we didn't know much about each other, but we knew each other's first names and we kind of recognized each other. So when we saw each other again in this last March, which was 2 months ago, it was like, "Oh, hi, how are you again?" But we never did talk about intimate details of our lives. We didn't talk about who we were. We didn't talk about where we were from. We didn't say anything about ourselves. It was so interesting for me as a woman seeing that happen. It was very, very interesting to me. Okay, so I want to go forward to rule number 26. So, morsels of a thought are hopefully thoughts of wisdom from other people so that we can inspire ourselves to do our lives the right way. Knowing what to do is a form of wisdom. And then actually doing it is a form of virtue. So, we want to bring more virtue into the world. That's my goal. So, morsels of a thought are for this reason. Rule number 26, listen to his advice and try to appreciate it. And when I'm reading this about women, men can understand that this is what they can reasonably expect. You know, it's reasonable for them to expect this. So let's do this. Most men like to fix things even when they're not broken. They're problem solvers. Women don't necessarily want their problems solved. They just want to air their feelings to be heard. So, when your husband gives you unsolicited advice, don't think he's insinuating that you don't know what you are doing. It has nothing to do with your competency. He's just following his problem solving nature. Sally does career counseling from home. Her business has skyrocketed primarily because she lets clients call her with work issues and quick questions at all hours of the day. One evening, as she was cooking dinner and the kids were playing with the dog, a client called and asked, "Do you have a second? I just have one question and it can't wait until tomorrow. I'm catching a plane in 5 minutes for a job interview in Boston." "Sure, as long as you don't mind the commotion. We're just about to eat dinner," said Sally. She put her hand over the receiver and told her kids to be quiet. The client didn't mind at all. Her husband, Jeff, had just walked in the door and overheard her conversation. After Sally answered the client's question and hung up the phone, she kissed Jeff hello and said, "Gosh, it's always crazy around here. The kids, the dog, the phone." "Can I make a suggestion?" asked Jeff. "Why did you have to take that call? Is that any way to run a business with screaming kids and pots rattling in the background? Couldn't you have told her to call back in an hour?" Sally was furious. If anything, she was looking for a little praise for how much she juggles in a day. She didn't want career advice. She knew the reason her new business was successful was because clients could call with emergency questions at odd hours. For Jeff to insinuate she didn't know what she was doing was infuriating. She was catching a plane and needed to talk to me now. She didn't mind the background noise. "Why do you? Why don't you stick to accounting?" she screamed. Of course, she could have said, "Thanks, but I'm handling everything just fine. Tell me about your day." That would have not hurt Jeff's feelings and would have diffused any tension. Instead, they argued for hours. Sally complained that Jeff always had a better way to do everything, even though she never asked him for it. Jeff said she was being too sensitive. Sally is not alone. Many women complain that their husbands are always trying to control or fix them or offer unsolicited advice when they're doing just fine, thank you. These women get insulted. They feel their competency is being questioned, and they end up screaming at their husbands, which only makes matters worse. Here are two more examples. Mary travels constantly as a book publicist and has never missed a flight. Yet her husband Ben always reminds her to leave for the airport earlier. It makes him feel important that he's having a say in her schedule. She gets so irritated by his interference that she ends up lying about her flight times and giving him a cold kiss goodbye. Hmm. Joan, a magazine writer, is the first to admit she's a slob. Her desk is always messy, her closets are cluttered, her drawers won't close, and her appointment books are illegible, yet she has never missed a doctor's appointment, a deadline, a PTA meeting, never forgotten a friend or relative's birthday, or lost her keys. PTA stands for Parent Teacher Association. Um, Her husband, Steve, an MBA grad, Masters of Business Administration, is always trying to organize her. He has bought her a fancy Filofax every Christmas for the last 12 years, despite the fact that they sit in her closet unused. She has a method that works for her, even though no one else can fathom her system. Yet Steve is intent on reforming her. When he makes a comment about being afraid to put anything on her desk because it might get lost, she wants to scream. Instead, she gets so hurt that she won't speak to him for a few hours. If you feel like screaming or sulking every time your husband tells you how to run your life, realize that he's not attacking you. Believe it or not, he's just trying to be helpful. It makes him feel important to put his 2 cents in. Try to understand his point of view. Women used to need a man for everything from programming a VCR, that I don't know what it stands for, video cassette recorder, there we go, to paying taxes. Now, women are so self-sufficient that they don't need a man to run a business or invest in the stock market. Men are feeling a little insecure about that, so they try to get involved in any way they can. Understanding that the next time your husband gives you advice you didn't ask for and probably won't use, just listen politely and say, "Thank you, that's a good idea." And then do what you were going to do anyway, unless he really does have a better idea. Don't be insulted, offended, or turn the comment into a big argument. Be flattered that he wants to help you. A lot of wives complain that their husbands ignore them. Be grateful you're not one of them. That's true. Be grateful that you're married. In the rules, we have the, in the rules, um, it is easier to do a corporate transaction than it is to get married. That's what they say. And it is excruciating to wait for the man's call. I know so. That I have experienced, and have to be the one that is pursued rather than the pursuer, because we like to be able to, I mean, politics aside, gee whiz, the society is changing, so we want to be independent. Women want to be independent. And I said politics because of some things happening in the United States that are a little unkosher to women. And this one referred to, oh, I got that part already. Okay. So that's what I'm going to say. And then getting married is harder than a corporate transaction, but staying married is easier than being unmarried, right? Staying married is easier than being unmarried. So that is what you want to do, is pay attention to the rules for marriage. Time-tested secrets keeping for making your marriage work. Okay, so I will talk to you again later. You take care. Thank you for coming. Old Kinderhook.